I'm losing my voice. I'm like Darth Vader now. I don't know. I recently read a news story on my Facebook feed that made me pause and think about all the life lessons that came out of this tragic event. I would like to share my thoughts while I try some new flavors from Buffalo Wild Wings. Hello, my name is Tony and welcome to my channel. Let's unpack what I ordered and see what we're eating today. Buffalo Wild Wings website currently has a deal for 20 bone-in wings with a side for $19.99. When I went to the app in my area, there is a 25% upcharge. So for me, it costs $24.99. And because I wanted the onion rings instead of the fries, there was an additional $3 upcharge. So look at that. Let's see, do they tell you which wings are which? So I went with the Golden Fire, the Hot Barbecue, the Blazin Knockout. I think that was the hottest one I got. And then the Thai curry, which I believe I tried the Thai curry before, but I mean, if it says Thai and curry, there's no way I was going to order it. So I'm still fighting this weird cough. I won't see my doctor until later this week, so hopefully it doesn't totally ruin this video. And then here is the large order of onion rings. I think in one of my last videos I said, remind me not to get the large order, but I mean, it comes with it. I can buy it. There's either this or I could get the fries with a dry rub seasoning for the included price. And then they had stuff like tater tots and wedges, and I believe those cost $1 each extra. It comes with some B-Dub sauce. I don't know what that meant. I thought B-Dub was the name of the Golden State Warriors or something. I don't know. And then I asked for 3 ranch, a blue cheese. It looks like I might have gotten 5 ranch, and I think that's blue cheese. I don't know, it's marked something. All right, I'm excited to get started. I have not had Buffalo Wild Wings since, oh gosh, a very long time. This might be my only 3rd, maybe 4th time having Buffalo Wild Wings. The first time ever was in Oahu. The first time I visited with my wife, we were out for a walk and there was a torrential downpour. And we got stuck at this little shopping center that is close to the Hyatt, Hilton Hyatt Regency, or it was close to the Hilton Hyatt. I forgot what the name of it is. And as we're standing there, and it was just downpouring, we're like, well, let's just grab something in here to eat. And there happened to be a Buffalo Wild Wing. And we got, I believe, the Thai at the time. I don't recall exactly, but I'm not sure about any of these other flavors, if they're new or not. And then I think one time I went to watch a UFC fight with my cousins. And at that time, they had something like a 7-Up wings or something like that. And that's what they ordered. Okay. Let's try one of these just to see how crispy they are. Have a good meal. So these are the beer battered onion rings. And there's actually a very sweet taste to it. It's actually very good. I thought it would taste like beer, which I don't like, but I don't taste beer at all. Or at least this is what beer tastes like, and I haven't had it in so long I wouldn't even know. It's not too bad. All right, let's start with the least spicy, which is the hot barbecue first. I'll try it without the sauce. I mean, without dipping. It's not too bad. You know, Buffalo Wild Wings is a hard place for me to go to for wings because When I think of wings, I want to go to Wingstop. Buffalo Wild Wings wasn't one of the first ones I went to. I don't have an established relationship with them. So even though it's called hot barbecue, it does have some spice, but for me, not enough to consider it hot. I would say this is like a mild barbecue. That is definitely a good flavor. Let me open one of these ranches just in case. The ranch actually tastes very good. I don't know if it's made fresh or not. All right, let's see. Let's try Blazin. No, let's try Golden Fire. This one is the Golden Fire. There's not much of a description of what it is, just like a heat level. I think this was pretty low, like middle heat level, maybe a 2 or 3. Actually has a sweetness to it. I can't really place it. Maybe the sweetness is coming from like honey or something. Almost like an Asian flavoring. Golden Fire was pretty good also. I don't know if fire is referencing the heat level or just saying that it's really good. I think that's what Gen A slang or Gen Z slang, fire. But let's move to the next one. I think I'm gonna go Thai curry next. Yeah, I totally taste the curry. Or I could totally smell the curry. This one's a little dry. I don't know if it's supposed to be dry or it just came out that way. On the Thai curry, the heat kicks in towards the end. So it's like a buildup of heat. All right, the only one left is the Blazin Knockout. That Blazin Knockout is pretty spicy. I don't know if the ranch will neutralize some of that heat, but I'm almost gonna say it's probably a little bit spicier than Wingstop's Atomic. They did not give me a lot of this, I'm assuming blue ranch, but let's try it. These onion rings are really sweet. And I'm not complaining. They're pretty good. All right, I'm ready to give you my rating. I would rate this at the price point that I got it at. I think this was the, I forgot what they call it, some kind of bundle. For 20 bone-in wings and a side at $24.99, I think it's a good deal. It's basically $1 a wing and then you're paying $5 extra for the side. I would rate this a solid 3 out of 5, meaning I would eat it again. I could recommend it to other people. For those of you who are here only for the food review, that's it. The rest of the time I'll probably be talking and eating. So thanks for stopping by. I'll see you guys in my next video. I think I'm gonna continue with the Blazin, because in case I get full, my daughters won't be eating the Blazin. It's probably too spicy for them. But I'm definitely gonna be dipping to try to neutralize some of this heat. Ooh. Last of the Blazin. Thank goodness. Blazin was very spicy, almost to a point where it wasn't enjoyable. I'll put a link to the article that I'm about to reference in the description below. I'm going to start off by saying that the article does not go into depth about what happened that night, and it kind of skews it towards one way. And I haven't looked deeper into this to really see if there was any stories showing what the other side is saying happened. So we're only getting kind of one side of the story. I'm going to read a little bit of what I wrote as a note for this. According to the article, on October 11th of this year, TJ, a 29-year-old soon-to-be father, was punched from behind and knocked out. TJ ultimately died from his injuries. So the article is titled, "His biggest dream was to be a dad. Man killed after being punched from behind, leaves behind pregnant wife. So what hooked me was the dad part of it. And that's why I read more into it. Sometimes I don't read these. It's sad news and there's too much sad stuff in the world. It got me reading it because technically this could happen to anybody. So I want to find out more of what happened. So the article goes on to say that his wife dropped him and two friends off in probably the downtown area of Scottsdale, Arizona, around 10 o'clock, just before 10 p.m. Sorry, it's still very hot, so. But then, so around 2 a.m., the bar must have been closing and they were waiting for their Uber to get home. I guess it was crowded and raining, so people were huddled under the awning of one of the establishments. And I guess as they were making their way through, one of his friends bumped into a female. That female and I believe 4 other men followed him or followed the group to a parking lot where I guess the suspect, the one who is charged with, I believe, second-degree murder, sucker punched TJ in the head, knocking him out. You know what? I'm gonna go see if I can watch a news article to see if I can get more information on this. Okay, I'm gonna leave a link to the video that I found on YouTube. I believe it came from a local news station that is covering this story. The news station doesn't say what happened after TJ hit the floor, but it sounds like he might have hit his head again. But it did say that the group of gentlemen who attacked then started fighting with TJ's friends. So that took away from their ability to care for TJ right on the spot. It's unknown if that is a contributing factor to him ultimately passing away. One of the questions I had from reading this article was, why was TJ the one that was punched first if his friend was the one that bumped into the female? There must have been some words exchanged between the two groups, and maybe somehow they thought TJ was the bigger threat. That part we don't know. I don't mean to just push it aside, but ultimately my thoughts on this case are, number one, what I always tell my daughters, nothing good happens after 10 p.m. Most people with families are usually home by that time, and then that's when the party crowds start going out. Statistically, most fatal DUIs occur between 12 midnight and 3 a.m. That probably corresponds to people leaving parties or when bars close and people are driving home. So another thing I tell my daughters is be careful who you hang out with. And you'll probably hear this common theme when I do a lot of my videos is that proximity, or the people that you allow to be in your inner circle, really dictate what you become as a person. Of course, I don't know for sure this is what happened in this case. The gentleman who struck and ultimately killed TJ wasn't the one that was touched initially, right? But because the female told him that she was probably touched and was offended by it. And who knows what conversations transpired between the two groups prior to the assault. But somehow, this young man, 24 years old, I believe, thought that what he needed to do was to punch a gentleman that he didn't know in the head as hard as he could. Was his intention to kill him with that one punch? Who knows? But that's what happened. And it ended that gentleman's life and ultimately rewrote his family's timeline. But in that instance, he also rewrote his timeline. Whatever he was planning to do the next day, of course, he never got around to doing, right? So whatever he was planning for the next month, next year, next 10 years, probably won't be exactly what he thought it was going to be, because he's facing, I believe, a 10 to 25 year prison sentence if found convicted of the assault. So of the group that attacked TJ and his friends, there were 3 other males, as well as the suspect who knocked out TJ and the female. Those 3 men, even if they didn't want to fight that night, kind of was thrown into it because that one suspect hit TJ, and that caused a chain reaction of them fighting. Was alcohol a contributing factor? Probably. So I was thinking, TJ might have been a special forces operator. He could have been a UFC champion. But when you're sucker punched hard enough that you are knocked out and then hit the ground, possibly causing a second concussion, it just ends your life, and all that training, all that knowledge is just thrown away. Similar to a story I heard about the lone survivor, where a rescue helicopter full of Special Forces Navy SEALs was shot down and killed everyone aboard. I was thinking, all that knowledge and skill lost in one instance. All those men who could have made differences never had a chance. And I guess lastly, all I want to say is, even though I never want to victim blame, and then again, not knowing exactly all the circumstances, if there were words that were thrown between the two groups prior to the assault, why were they walking away with their backs turned to these guys? They should have been, there's 3 of them, they could have, walked in a way that's more strategic, always keeping an eye on the gentlemen that were behind them so they wouldn't be sucker punched. And maybe they didn't perceive them as a threat at the time. Maybe it was cockiness, who knows? It's easy to do the Monday morning quarterbacking after the story, but when you're in that situation, you just don't think about it. That's why I'm so angry watching movies that portray stuff like that, like zombie movies or post-apocalyptic movies, where the hero turns their back after knocking out one of the enemies or one of the zombies, thinking that they're safe, but they haven't really ended the zombie's life, right? And it comes back to attack them. That's why it's so hard for me to watch those types of movies, because to me, it's so unrealistic. Anyways, it's very tragic. And just to think, when I was younger, around this gentleman's age, I wasn't really thinking about being a father. But when my wife got pregnant with our first daughter, and I knew that a life was coming, I was so excited. And that is all I wanted to be, was a father. And for him to lose that. I mean, for him, I hate to say it, but it's easy. He's gone, right? It's the people left behind that have to remember him. His wife, his child, who will never know who he is other than what stories are told about him. And ultimately his parents who raised him and probably had all these hopes to seeing him grow as a man and a father, to see it all disappear like that. The investment in time, in love. I couldn't imagine seeing my children pass away before me. It's something that is tragic and sad. Well, I think I ordered way too much food. 20-piece wings is really not for one person, at least in my case. It was so spicy, it made it so I kind of lost my appetite. I'll try to finish the onion rings because the girls won't eat that. But ultimately, I think I'm done for today. I already gave my review, so rewind if you didn't get to see that part. But yeah, it's a good alternative to Wingstop. And it has some new flavors that are different than what you would get at Wingstop. So I would recommend trying it out. And let me know which 4 flavors you would pick. I stayed away from the dry rubs because I didn't want it to be too dry, even though the Thai curry came out a little dry. But I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed talking to you today. So if you stuck it out this long, I really appreciate you. Thank you. And I will see you in the next video. Take care now. Bye.